Back again. Guess who's back? Me. All right. Got some good stuff to tell you. I'm going to tell you soon. In like 12 seconds. Clink, clink, clink. Sounds so fancy. It's my coffee. Fancy coffee. Not really fancy. 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday. It's April 29th, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Wow. We made it to Thursday. We're here. We're almost back at the weekend. Not so bad. We're doing all right, everybody. Stupid fly. Missed him. This is one of the challenges of growing so many things is unfortunately it creates a suitable environment for insects like flies. They're like, oh, let's fly around and see what else is up. Well, yesterday was pretty solid. I've got to say, this whole stuffing all of my meetings into the first half of Monday works awesome. I love it. Got 2 chapters of the audiobook recorded yesterday and got through my books. And what else did I do? Oh, you know what I forgot to tell you guys the other day? On Monday, I was approached to collaborate on a book that would be by someone who has written, like 7 or 8 books. This is a client and friend. And so we're going to put together a pitch for this book based around a number of things that we're both good at. I'm not going to give it away. And approach an actual publishing house. This would be the publishing house that does the Dummies books. This would be blah 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 for Dummies. Has nothing to do with martial arts. It could, but it doesn't. So that's kind of cool. I'm pumped for that because I like to write, and if I can make that work, that's my way in the door. There are a lot of books in my head. I could definitely see myself as a full-time writer. I really could. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I am hopeful. Gotta start working on. There's so many projects, you guys. There's so many projects, and with this new schedule, I'm able to work on more of them. The Strength and Speed Hybrid is rolling along, and we've got the path forward to rolling that out for schools as well, the commercial version. It's there. I can see it. And so that's what I'm working on next week. I'm going to finish up the audio version of Faith this week. And if you haven't read that book, why not? I am finding some typos as I read it, and I apologize for that to anyone who's read it. Editing is hard. I think like 3 or 4 people edited this book, including me. And the typos slipped by everybody. It's okay. No book's perfect. I watched a short video from Grant Cardone. You may not know him by name, but he wrote The 10X Rule, which is it's been a pretty successful book. And he was up on stage and saying that in this clip, somebody was giving him a hard time that his book had typos, and he said, "It's a bestseller. I don't care. It still gets the point across." And I think we have a tendency when we don't like someone or something that we look for even the smallest thing to criticize about it to justify our feelings. You know, when a relationship ends, you go and you look for all the things that were wrong about that person that didn't bother you when you were in the relationship, but, you know, this person's horrible because of this, or I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened to me, but if somebody puts up video on YouTube about, self-defense or martial arts and this technique or that. And they get really picky. They're like, yeah, but, you know, your your punch on the 17th movement of that form should be here and it's here, 3/4 of an inch different. People get so bogged down in the minutia of what's not perfect when they themselves are doing nothing. Good morning, Nathan. Just do it, to borrow Nike's statement. What else did I do yesterday? I made a pretty boring dinner, fish and vegetables. Yeah. Good morning, Stacy. I went to the gym for a little bit, watched some TV, played some video games. Had a great conversation with Frank yesterday. We talked for, what was it, over an hour. Had a good chat. He's a good man. I appreciate him being on the team. I appreciate the whole team. I really do. Now today, what's going on today? Well, at some point I've got to cut my hair because I keep pushing that back and I got to shave. I've got a meeting this morning. I may shave and cut my hair before the meeting. We'll see. Find out. It's a professional thing, but it's not. There's no pressure to it. It's somebody I've known for a long time, so it's not a big deal. But we'll be meeting at Panera. I haven't been at the Panera. Remember, those of you who watched for a while, remember I used to go to Panera like all the time and work, and then they shut down the dining room, and I went, thanks guys, now I work from home all the time. Well, now I have the co-working space. But I haven't been to that Panera in 8 months, 6 months. It's been a long time. The website says it's open. It better be open. I hear a cat. It's right there. Well, what are you doing? She's doing weird jaw things. How do I say what I'm going to say? I keep talking about this new schedule that I have and the way things are laid out in my day because I'm trying to get things done. I'm trying to accomplish things. I'm trying to find the thing that we do here that puts us on the map. And the more structured and organized I am, the more time I have to think, to put these programs and these books and all these other things together, I think the better the chance it is. Look at all the things that we've got in development that are coming soon. The magazine should be out soon. Weeks. We've got 3, soon to be 4 training programs. And I already know what the next one is. It's the flexibility program people have talked about. And it's going to be free. There's so many flexibility programs out there, and they're just, the ones that I've seen, they just don't understand how the body works. They're using old science to teach flexibility, and there's such better ways to do this. It's really not that hard. Stacy says her ads and payment coming this week. Stacy's going to be in the magazine. I appreciate it. If anybody wants to get in for the second issue, let me know. We've closed the first issue. You can't do it. No more. No more ads. You will miss the inaugural issue. But if you want to be able to get a paper copy, there's only going to be 100 of them. Go to martialjournal.com. Make sure you get on the mailing list. Basically, subscribe. That's what it is. But this flexibility program that I'm going to put together, which I think we're going to finish the next book. I think I'll finish the Strength and Speed program. We'll put that up. I'll go back to the other book that we were working on. I'll get through that, and then I'll go back and I'll put this flexibility program together. But that flexibility program is going to be free, completely free. Like $0. Don't even have to sign up for anything, free. Why? Because I think if people see the approach that I bring to training, they'll stick around. Now, the downside to giving away a program is that everybody's going to get it and very few people are going to do it because people don't value things that are free. The platform that we use has a pay what you think it's worth feature. So I might make it as little as $1. I don't know. But basically, it's going to be cheap. Because I want people to see what we're doing. And after Flexible, there's so many. I could probably write I think I've said this before. I could write a program a week. I really could. I would need people to implement it and do the videos and do all the write-up. But, you know, that the part that I do well is what's the training protocol? How do you get faster? How do you get stronger? What if you want to get stronger, faster, and more flexible in 3 days a week? I could write you a program for that. I could do these things. I can. What am I good at? I'm good at conveying information. I'm good at teaching. I think that's, of the things that I do well, I think that's the thing I do best. My ability to break down complex subjects into simpler parts. It's raining again, and I think in the 10-day forecast it's raining every day but Saturday. Well, I guess I'm doing all the outside work on Saturday. April showers. April showers bring May flowers. But what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims. Was that a thing for anybody as a kid? I'm sure it was a thing for all of us. Got a few things coming in. I'm looking. You know, our content's getting a little bit more attention. I think we're slowly moving up on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who's made an impact with that. Now, what do we got here? We've got some quotes, courtesy of Frank, and we've got a response to something I said yesterday from Jen. So yesterday, Frank asked some questions around health and vitamin D and immunity and everything, and I loosely tied those things back to the 19 thing that is happening right now, without going into a lot of specifics. But we talked about the importance of being outside and vitamin D, and this is something I've heard about, but Jen lived in Russia for a time, and we've talked about that a little bit, and she talked about it when she was on Martial Arts Radio. But she writes in, my first winter in rural Russia, everyone told me about how important it was to be in the sun as much as possible. I agreed. But then one sunny day in late February, I looked outside and saw a group of toddlers running around playing in the snow in only their underwear and winter hats. It was explained to me that getting as much sun on their bare skin as possible was essential to their health. That perspective has stuck with me, though I usually have my own kids put a swimsuit on before heading out to catch the early spring sunshine. This also protected the kids from sunburn, important in a place with 20 plus hours of sunlight per day during the summer. There you go. If I could wave a magic wand, we'd stop calling it vitamin D. We would call it hormone D? I don't know. We'd probably have a better name. I'm sure there's a real... Let's try this. Hey, Google, what's the scientific name for vitamin D?
The IUPACID of ergocalciferol is 3-beta, 5-Z, 7-E, 22-E, minus 9, 10-SECOERGOSTA5, 7, 10, 19, 22-TETRAEN3OL.
That's not quite what I was looking for. I don't know if you heard that, but... I was looking for something like, I don't know, testosterone, cortisol. Well, whatever it is, I'm sure it's got a more conventional name. At least I'm assuming it does. I think we should call it that. Because it's important. It's critical. I think ultimately if vitamin D levels get too low, you will die. I'm pretty sure. Because nothing else works well. So Saturday when I'm outside, you better believe I'm going to get as much time without a shirt on as I can. Probably be later in the day, but gonna try. So thanks for writing that in, Jen. I appreciate that. Real world experience. Context. Valuable. Today is International Dance Day. This is how I dance. It's not that far from the truth. I can dance. I've actually been told I'm a good dancer. If I get a few drinks in me and stop second guessing myself, I do pretty well. I think I would have done well as a more of like a formalized dancer, like ballet. Something with a routine, like a form, kata, pomse, whatever, right? I can handle choreography. I like choreography. And, you know, the irony of getting older is you look at those things that you say, man, I wish I had done that as a kid. But the problem is when you were a kid, you were way too self-conscious to do it. If we were going to design like the perfect martial artist, what would we have them do as a kid? Well, we'd have them do martial arts classes, of course. But we'd probably put them in ballet because look at the flexibility and the strength. You want to talk about somebody who can kick? Take a ballet dancer and teach them how to kick. Holy cow. It's going to be amazing. How about gymnastics for upper body strength and body awareness? Between those two things, if I had a kid doing, you know, a couple days a week of karate or taekwondo, it doesn't really matter. And a day a week of ballet and a day a week of gymnastics, you know, in like a fun, playful sort of way, be a monster when they get older. And then maybe when they get to high school, we have them wrestle. You know, that, Andrew, if you're watching this, we should do an episode on this. We should do an episode where we engineer the ultimate martial artist at, let's say, like 25 years old. Someone who, well, first we got to figure out what the goal is. Maybe we call it like the best fighter. How to become the best fighter in the world. I think that'd be a lot of fun. We'll do that. So today's International Dance Day. There is a tangent for you. There are similarities between dance and the martial arts. Completely agree. Bruce Lee was a dancer, for instance. Ballroom cha-cha? I think it was cha-cha. I think he was a champion cha-cha dancer. To be creative means to be in love with life. You can be creative only if you love life enough that you want to enhance its beauty. You want to bring a little more music to it, a little more poetry to it, a little more dance to it. That's credit to Rajneesh. Ultimately, everything that we value was created. Think about it. If you're watching this show, I've created this show. If you spend money on Netflix, it's because you value the shows that were created. And think of all the creativity that had to go into that. There's creativity in the direction, in the writing, in the acting, in the editing, in the special effects, in the audio, the soundtrack, the audio editing. If you buy a car, somebody created that car. Somebody had to design that car and what it looked like. There's creativity all around. And the things that we value most are creative. Who are some of the highest paid people? Musicians, actors, writers. These people create things that we value so much. What about athletes? They create an experience. Why do martial arts competitions not get outside of attention, despite the fact that the athleticism, The skill is at the top levels incredibly good because we don't create an experience for the people watching. Why has baseball faded in popularity? Because it doesn't create the same experience watching that basketball and football does. Why is soccer, international football, why is it so popular in so many countries? Well, two reasons. One, it's pretty inexpensive to get started, so you can have a huge funnel of people that play and participate. And have you ever been to a professional soccer match? I went to one. I was 13, 12. It was spring of 92. I was in Valencia, Spain. Went to a professional soccer match with my family. It was insane. Talk about people getting excited. It was an experience. The collection of people and the athletes on the field created an experience. The people putting on the event were aware of that. We value creativity in our society. And I mean, look at what's going on with NFTs right now. If you're following that, you know, yeah, it's a bubble and it's going to pop, and people have paid way too much money for these things. But most of the NFTs that are of value come from some created artwork or experience or cultural element. Where does creativity show up in your life? What do you do that's creative? Is it within the context of martial arts? Do you see your personal training as creative? Do you flow? Do you shadow box? Do you invent forms? Here's a creative endeavor for you. If you've been training for a little while, if you designed a martial arts curriculum, what would it look like? What would be in it? There's a creative endeavor there. And I think the more we create, the better we get at creating. There is, do we want to call it science? There is something to be said for altered states of consciousness, you know, let's say drugs or alcohol or meditative states and creativity. It is so far beyond cliche that people do drugs and then, you know, create things. I'm absolutely not advocating for that in any way. But it's something that, you know, culturally we understand. That is something that some people do in order to feel more creative. It lets down, I believe the way it works is the inhibitions of judgment, self-judgment fall away. And you get more direct conduit from wherever creativity comes from to the world. While I'm not doing so in an altered state, I've talked about when I sit at the co-working space on Fridays and come up with things. What can we do? What can we do different? What would be interesting? How do we leverage the resources we have in a new and creative way? And I'll sit at my desk. It's not really my desk. I'll sit at a desk. And sometimes if that's not working, I go and I sit in the chair over there. Or sometimes I'll go sit in the conference room down there. Or sometimes I'll go for a walk. And just try to get the creative side of my brain going. It's important. As much as we value creativity, if it is something only that you consume and not something that you put back into the world, I'm going to suspect that there is a deficiency for you that we could probably identify. Stacy says, Jeremy minus coffee is an altered state. Or, ironically, too much coffee. Like last Friday, I think I had 6 cups of coffee by the end of the day. It was way too much. Movement never lies. It is a barometer telling the state of the soul's weather to all who can read it. Martha Graham. There's a quote that applies to martial arts. Holy cow. If you spar somebody that you know, you can tell exactly. You've been training a while, you can tell exactly what's going on with that person by how they show up, how they spar. They going a little hard? Are you hitting them with shots that you don't normally? Good morning, Andrew. Andrew, we talked. Andrew, bug me later. I have an idea for for a show topic. We talked about it before you got here. Oh yeah, Andrew was busy listening to our new episode. It's Thursday. I always forget the Thursday ones, and I don't know why. Oh, episode 601, talking about Marshall Journal. Here's the video version. Let's fix that. Video version is not live. So, I've been talking about Marshall Journal for a while. It's a project we've been working on for a long time. Scheduled for 9 a.m. No, we're going to publish that right now. Boom. 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 Save. So in this episode, we bring on Justin, who is the editor-in-chief of Marshall Journal, the editor of the website and the print version. We've decided I'm the publisher. That's the title. Andrew says he's not going to watch the video version. He just listened to the audio version. Well, I just set the audio to unlisted, so if everybody's in the middle of watching it, it won't kick them off. But now they're only going to see the video version because why not? Why not see our shining faces? And Justin's an incredibly smiley dude. You want to see that guy smile? Yeah, but Andrew, I came up with a great show topic around designing. What do we call it? Designing the. How do you design like the perfect fighter? So, make sure we talk about that later. That actually might be better as a topic than some of the other things that we laid out yesterday. Going back to my quotes, where'd they go? We're here. Oh yeah, we were talking about sparring someone, and you see how they show up, right? I've had days where I'm sad or distracted, and I'm getting tagged all over the place. I've had days where I show up and I'm really happy and my mind is clear, and I'm trouncing everybody. And then, of course, most days are in between. Creativity, free-form movement, requires a connection to that side of your mind. You ever gone into a sparring match and said, okay, I'm going to, and you go in and you try to left brain it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Free-form movement requires some creativity. And I don't mean creativity as in, I'm going to do a cartwheel kick now. I mean creativity as in, there are too many variables for you to structure every single thing. Some of it has to be dynamic and reactive and creative in the moment. And I think that's valuable. And it's a valuable skill. And it's something that a lot of us do not have. A lot of us as martial artists are uncomfortable with that. It's part of why we like martial arts, because we're told what to do. But the more you can break out of that mold, the more you can spend time playing. Make your own form. You don't have to show it to anybody. Nobody's going to stop you. There's nothing wrong with that. If you, let's say you train at a karate school and you've got, the 5 pinyons or heians, what would a 6th one look like? Take the concepts in there, and what would the next one look like? Make it. Pinyon Rokudan. What would that look like? I don't know. Make it. Make it and then send me a video. I want to see it. And our last quote for the day. Remember, give me some quotes, some comments, some stuff for tomorrow. Friday, Frank's going to give us some jokes. If you want to support us, you probably know what to do. Patreon, buy something at whistlekick.com, whistlekickprograms.com, buy a book at Amazon, so many things. Go check out the episode about Marshall Journal and learn why it's important. This is not just about us. This is not just about putting out another piece of content. This is about us You know what? I'm not even going to tell you. Go watch it. Or listen to it. It's in your audio feed too. So our last quote, courtesy of Frank. Thank you again, Frank. From a name that, let's see if you can guess as I'm reading it. We dance for laughter. We dance for tears. We dance for madness. We dance for fears. We dance for hopes. We dance for screams. We are the dancers. We create the dreams. Albert Einstein. How do you add on to that? What's the quote? The Shakespeare attributed quote. All the world is a stage and we are merely the players. Something like that. I hope you have a great day. I hope you knock it out of the park, crush it, whatever you're doing. I hope you have a good time. I hope you're productive. And I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by. And I'll see you. Take care, everybody. Peace.